One of the biggest misconceptions that I see with people wanting to learn sound design is that they want to learn so they can create their own unique sound. And I want to start this off with a quote, and that goes something like, "This is a preset that I tweaked from most production walkthroughs." It's a joke, but it is kind of not a joke too, because a lot of production walkthroughs of big artists that break down their songs, they always say like, "Here's a preset, I tweaked it." Then you kind of wonder like, what did they tweak? And that's actually one of the benefits of knowing sound design. So you can actually tweak these presets, tweak as in just change little things to make it fit your song. So this might be the envelope settings, or maybe some of the effects or the wavetables, just how to tweak a sound to make it fit your song, or how you actually imagine that sound sounding in your head. That's far more important than creating a sound for the sake of it being unique. But don't let that discourage you from making your own unique sounds by any means. And another reason to learn is you have an unlimited source of sounds. If you hear a song that you really like that bass line, or you really like that lead sound, within 15 minutes you can have that same exact sound if you know how sound design works. And not even advanced stuff, if you know the basics. And I think if you know the basics, you probably know more than 90% of people. I just made that up. But you probably know more than most people if you can understand the basics of sound design. And when you guys create these sounds on your own, you will learn so much more than from watching a tutorial. I think tutorials are still good, like videos, like if you guys watch my videos or Zen World's videos or anybody's, those are still really good. But I think if you can adopt the habit of creating sounds on your own, you can learn far more that way. Now, the best way to learn this stuff is side-by-side referencing, because there's only so many videos on YouTube that talk about how to make certain sounds, especially for Vital, since Vital is so new. What you want to do is, on the left side of your screen is going to be the preset that you want to copy, and the right side is going to be an empty preset or an initialized preset. And then with that, what you're going to do is create everything that you see on the left, copy that exactly how you see it, and put that to the empty preset on the right. And as you go along, maybe just keep pressing some notes just to see how the sound is changing. You know, copy the wavetables, the envelopes, the LFOs, effects, literally everything perfectly. And if you guys do that, you're gonna get used to how little changes are going to make a big difference, because sometimes literally one thing in the sound that is like a mindless thing, it might take you 5 seconds to do, but that little thing gives you 90% of the sound. And when you guys first start doing this, you're gonna think it's like perfect, like, oh, I copied it perfectly, and it literally sounds nothing like it. That happened to me for so long. It happened all the time. Like, what? Like, I did everything perfect. So if that happens to you, just restart, because it's obviously not the same. So just restart it and just keep going until you get it right. So I'm actually going to demonstrate this for you guys, but real quickly, you guys can take a look at this. We're going to be looking at the shape first. So we're going to shape the envelopes, the LFOs, any modulations with there, because you know what makes a lead preset is different how we could make a bass preset, or like a respace or anything like that. And then we're gonna look at the character, which is going to be the oscillator section, and then we're gonna dive into the effects. All right, so here's what the preset we're working with today sounds like. And then on the right side, we just have an initialized saw wave. So the first thing, we need to get the shape of the sound, and that's going to come from the envelope. So envelope 1 is going to be the amp envelope, and that's going to be the volume of the actual sound. And I don't want to get too deep into like what each thing does in this video. I just want to show you guys the process I would do when I do this. And I still do this to this day. I did this literally yesterday. So envelope 1's like that. Envelope 2, we can see it's a little shorter than envelope 1. So we can make this a little longer, make envelope 2 a little shorter. And then by the envelope, we can see that it's modulating 2 different things, which means this envelope is just controlling 2 different things, the shape of that envelope. So we have some FM, which we'll get into in the oscillator section. And then it's actually in the filter setting too. So the filter is going to make a big part of the sound. So we can just drag envelope 2 onto that filter. We can get this as close as possible for right now, 25 hertz, and we're just going to dial that back a little bit. So that takes care of the shape of what we're getting at. But now we're going to load up a sine wave in the first oscillator. Then for the second oscillator, we have another sine wave. So we can just load one up real quick. And then all of the unison and detunes, these are pretty much untouched. For oscillator B, the envelope is, or the volume's at 0. Put that at 0, and then we have some FMing going on. Put this around 30% over here, and we're just pretty much copying exactly how we see it, because we get used to seeing the values of what things are at, how how far is this knob tweaked and whatnot, how much detune is there and everything. So we can put that envelope 2 on there, and then this octave right here, this one's 1 octave down, and then this one is 1 octave up. And I actually forgot envelope 3 is a pitch envelope, so we could put this sustain at 0. The decay is at, what's it at over here? It's at 3.2. So we could just type in 3.2 over here. And when you're making a sound, I'm obviously not going to be typing in like 3.2 milliseconds. I'm just going to be dragging it back and, until it sounds good. But just for the sake of copying the preset, I think it's good to just get everything exactly. Put that onto the chorus pitch, and then now we pretty much have the whole character of the sound. And then we can head on over to the effects section. And in most presets, they're already going to be processed. I can't imagine most presets aren't processed. All of mine are. I think most people's presets are going to be processed. So we can add some distortion, this is at what, 35%? 35 there. Dial that mix back a little bit, add a little bit of multi-band compression, so we can turn that on over here. Turn gain up. All right, so I messed up here. We need an MG low 18. I was wondering why I was like sounding weird. I was so confused. So we can tweak this back to how we had it. That's more like it. That's more like it. But that's a good point though, is just make sure everything's perfect. So right there, I picked a high 18 filter instead of a low 18. And it's going to give us a completely different sound from what we're looking for. But moving on, we can add a little bit of resonance, so we can dial in the filter 34%. And we can add a little bit of drive as well. Then there's also a little bit of reverb on this one, so we can add a little bit of reverb. Then afterwards, you can just compare it with that exact preset. Couple things to watch out for. Some presets are going to be dialed in exactly like I was saying before. They're going to be perfectly where, like, if we change one little thing, it's going to be completely different. And if you guys literally have no idea what I just did or what I'm talking about, take a step back and watch a full tutorial, a full guide of how to use Serum, Vital, Sylenth, Diva, anything. Take a step back and just learn the actual synth. It's boring learning what like everything does, but once you guys really learn what everything means, not means in its deepest way, but like just learn what everything means, learn what everything sounds like. So now for an action step, we need to make this a habit. So you guys can do this. I recommend you guys do this every single day. Start with copying X amount of presets per day, 3, 5, 10, whatever you guys feel comfortable. And that alone will help you learn more than what you would by watching videos. Now, it's still good to watch videos, but I think it just makes you feel good knowing that like you discovered this on your own. And I feel like it triggers something in you to make you want to learn even more. So when you guys discover new things, you get even more hungry for it. And that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know down below, and I'll catch you guys later.